Hey, how are you? Good to see you today. It must be Monday because Pastor Greg is bringing a message. I hope you've noticed that several times a week we pastors are wanting to get a message out just to share a little bit of encouragement or an idea, or with Josh and Elizabeth, some music. And we hope this is something that brings a little spirit and life to your day, even as we are forced to be apart. I hope that you all are taking really good care of yourselves, washing your hands a lot, maintaining distance the way you need to. It's not only for all of our sakes, for your sake personally, but it's for all of our sakes. And we want to make sure that we want to keep doing that, especially so that we can protect and care for the most vulnerable among us. Today I was thinking, this Sunday is Palm Sunday, and I'll be preaching on what we usually preach about on Palm Sunday, which is Jesus' triumphal entry into Jerusalem. And I was looking at that scripture, and I was starting to realize just how much Jesus took control of that situation. Even in a time that was really difficult, it was a tense time. And it reminded me of some of the trainings that I do with Brethren Volunteer Service and with other organizations, where I come in and I talk about resilience. And the question of resilience is really this: why is it that some people, when they face a really difficult situation, are able to respond to it? They meet it head on, they take it, and they might even be better off than they were before that really difficult situation, where other times, other folks tend to crumble and to melt under that kind of pressure. And so social scientists began to look at this, and they've been studying it for 3 or 4 decades now, and they've identified a couple of key attitudes that people who are resilient tend to take. Now, the important part about these attitudes is not that we are just naturally born with them or not born with them. Everybody can learn and practice these attitudes. And so I like to boil it down to what I call the 3 C's: curiosity, control, and change. People who are resilient have these 3 C's. They practice these 3 C's. Now, if you don't feel like you have them right away, it's okay. That's something you can get better at. So let's talk about them for a minute. Curiosity. Now, curiosity is just what it sounds like it is. People who are more resilient are curious. They think about things a little bit more. For some people, this means they might strike up a conversation with someone in line at the grocery store just to know a little bit more about what their shirt says, or what this means, or how they're doing. Other people are the kind of people who maybe are more mechanical. They might take apart a clock radio just to see how it works. But either way, that sense of curiosity helps us understand how things work, and it helps us respond when things change. So let's talk about change a little bit. That's the second C. We have curiosity, and then we have change. With change, we recognize that change is the norm in life. Change is not the exception. The world will always be changing, and boy, haven't we learned that with this COVID crisis. So if you realize that the world is always changing, rather than getting paralyzed when it changes, even when it's a big change, rather than becoming stuck, we accept that change is part of life, and we meet that. We meet that challenge. We meet that change. And that's when we employ some of those things that we learned when we were being curious. And so we have curiosity, we have change, and last we have control. Now, control is a little bit odd, because we might be thinking right now, you might be sitting at home thinking, I have no control over this. I can't go outside. I had nothing to do with this. However, this part of resiliency and control has everything to do with the amount of control that we are able to take for our lives. So we can't control whether we can go outside, but what can we control? Well, we can control our attitudes. We can control what we do with this time. I've seen people who are doing all kinds of neat projects, some of them artistic, some of them catching up on work, some of them just for fun. What control do we have? I'm reminded even of Nelson Mandela, who, upon being thrown in jail for years and years and years, took the time to better himself, to learn to know the politics in ever more depth. And that set the stage for when he was released and for the ultimate transformation of South Africa. Curiosity, control, and change. We can all become more resilient. Now, this will be part of our sermon to some degree on Sunday. I hope you remember it. I hope you keep thinking about it, and I hope you keep practicing it. Take care, everyone.